This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Hey everyone.
Hey everybody. So, okay. I hate starting it like this because I have seen
just started on a bad note, huh?
Well, because I have seen the TikTok of the guy who's talking to his friends and he starts every conversation with, have you seen that TikTok? And they're like, oh my God, shut up. Like, shut up. Like, talk about something else, right? So I hate to be that person that's like, have you seen this TikTok? But I have to because someone tagged us in it. Like, I love that people are tagging us in other people's bad date story times now.
Keep it coming.
Yes,
Keep it coming. It's so funny. And this girl was telling this story and what makes it really funny actually is the delivery, because it's like that up close, red-eyed, like crying.
Oh, yeah.
And she's saying that she went over to some guy's house and she was like really hungry. Like, he said he was going to make her dinner. So she was like hungry. And I've also been there where you're like so hungry, you're going to either cry or punch somebody.
Yes.
Because you're like, I have waited all day to eat because I knew that this was a plan or whatever. My blood sugar is low and I'm getting emotional. And so she's like excited to eat. And she asks him what they're having for dinner, and he's like, oh, I'm making sausages. And she's like, oh, I love sausages, sounds good. And what kind of sausages? And then she says, these are her words, he whips out his wiener and slaps it on a plate.
I
didn't ask for this. Also, don't fuck with me about food.
Yes.
When I'm hungry, like, it would be wrong, inappropriate. I did not consent to this under any circumstances. But when I'm hungry, now you're fucking with my emotions when it comes to my meal.
Well, and it's also just like, just whipping out your dick is like, it's not a punchline. It's not a lot of things.
It could be.
It could.
Sorry.
With consent. This is a good segue because I was reading an article this morning, New York Post, but it's still an interesting article about digital consent being a new trend to combat dick pics.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, and luckily, like, this kind of thing has been criminalized in some states. I think it's criminal in California to send an unsolicited dick pic. So I'm hoping that this trend catches on where now guys are having to figure out ways to ask if people are okay with seeing their dick pics.
This is going to be an interesting learning curve because it's like, how, like, my lady, would you mind?
Would you
ever? No, the article gives you some suggestions.
Yes.
Are you guys ready to hear?
God, I love it. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
I was like, if someone texted this to me,
block.
Okay. So here are some examples. Bumble offers examples of ways to take the conversation to a more intimate level.
Okay.
Number 1, I'm really enjoying this conversation a lot. Would you like to take it to a more intimate level? I'd love to tell you what I'd do if we were together right now.
Okay. You know what?
It's very professional.
It is.
Yes. At first, I was like, I don't know.
Per my last
I
email.
love the intro, but I love where we got. Like, is there a more creative way to get to that last sentence?
I mean, I just have never seen anybody text in that complete of
right. Yes, it feels like this is.
Sorry, did you use full
This
sentences?
is like a Regency era correspondence letter. Like,
yes. My dearest Clementine, may I show you my penis?
My two
By the
months
time
later.
this text gets to you, I shall be half hard. Okay. Number 2 is, I'd love to show you exactly how I feel. May I send you a nude photo?
Oh. A nude photo.
Mother, may I?
Nude
may
photo.
I is what's throwing me there. Like
It's
I don't. It just
photo
feels
for me.
very formal to say, "May I please?" You know, where I'm
May
like,
I please show you my dick?
yeah, I need
May I
to
please?
show you my
Photo.
dick right now.
Nude photo. Photo. When was the last time you used the word photo?
A nude
Photo.
photo is
May I please send you a nude photo? Is
Literally, who wrote this? Your mom?
yeah. Listen, like the guidelines, I like and appreciate them. I definitely
Yes.
think there needs to be digital consent. We need to find a good way of
But
of
someone's
asking.
mom.
But these are so formal that I'm like, look, take the exact
It's like
same
Emily's
sentiment.
post guide.
Yes.
Dick posts.
Yes. I'm like, take this exact same sentiment and just like loosen it
Yeah.
up just like a
okay.
little
Here's
bit,
the third
please.
and final ask for digital consent. Would you want to have video sex with me? No press either way. I just think it would be fun since we're having such a good chat.
A 50-year-old wrote these.
Yes.
This is
Would you like to have video sex with
someone's grandpa wrote this article. This
got
is this who you didn't have anybody who was under the age of 30 who was available in your office who could have
No.
written this for you?
No, because they did, and they were like, print it.
No presh is hilarious. Like they were like, what are the kids saying these days? Presh? Throw that
my
in.
God. What I do love is getting consent to
Yes.
take the conversation to a more intimate
do I.
sexual
Yeah.
level.
Yes.
Do we love that?
Love it.
Absolutely.
Amen.
There is a more natural way to go.
100%. You don't have to sound like you are a piece of AI that has written this. Like, you know, because that's what it sounds like AI wrote that. Like, that's what that sounds like. Because
Would you like to have video sex with me? No press.
no pressure. Yes. Yeah, because I'm like, I agree. We're not laughing at the idea of digital consent. I think we're all very much on board.
Yes.
We've all experienced unsolicited digital content in our lives,
Right.
I feel like. So I'm completely on board with that. And just not like that. That last one really got me.
Yeah, me too. And I'm thinking through my conversations to see, for the most part, there was some form of consent given to take the conversation in that way. It was a natural progression. And I would say 90% of the time, the dick pics I got were somewhat asked for. It did
Consensual.
The conversation did go that way, and I didn't feel like. I mean, does a picture of a dick really do a lot for me? Not really. No, not so much.
No, not really. I mean, it's really just a visual representation of how the person is feeling, which is far more exciting than the picture itself. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
it's not about the picture. Yeah, because I mean, let's be real. It's not like it doesn't. The angle of the photo is never good. It's not like the lighting is good or.
Let's have a serious conversation about how dicks just aren't actually good. They're like not pretty, right? Like it's not a visual masterpiece. I mean,
No.
enjoyable, to be sure,
Yeah.
for someone in the heterosexual or, I mean,
If you like a dick,
if you like a dick, that's my point.
Yeah.
Yes,
But just looking at a picture
it's not
of it. It was. I feel the same way towards like a vagina. Too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. That's not it. That's not the sensual part of any nude photograph. It's not like an up close. Like, yeah, if you get up close and personal on a vag, like that's not not pretty either. Like no matter what Georgia O'Keeffe says, it's not.
I mean, it's only pretty when Georgia O'Keeffe paints it, and then you just are like, it's a flower, right? It's just the flower.
Exactly. Yeah. No, when you get up close and look at a vagina, it's not like very flowery.
No.
Like, when you
Yeah,
get up
I
in
mean,
there,
like,
so.
yeah, because we've all done that with a mirror, right?
Yeah.
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 It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, like weekly, right?
Just checking out.
Checking
in
in
with my
checking
friend.
out, checking in.
Yeah, good. We're good. We're
Hi-
good.
How you doing, Chloe?
Chloe.
Oh,
You guys don't name your
that
vagina?
Your vagina's name
Oh,
is
no.
Chloe?
I just always like that name.
Oh no, I've never.
First of all, I have not named my vagina. Now I'll give it
I feel
some
like
thought.
it would be Josephine.
Josephine?
Yeah, I don't know. Feels right.
There you go. Chloe and Josephine.
Because she Josephine.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'll get back to the listeners on this. I gotta take some time. I gotta make some lists.
Rose Cots. You gotta look into the origin, the meaning of the name.
I'm gonna get on babynames.com.
Oh
look up
no.
meanings.
Oh no.
There you go.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you guys, it is Short King Spring.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love you love to see it. Which made me realize I was like, okay, so I think that we've all noticed or hoped that this whole celebration of Short King energy was gonna I don't know. I think that there is a good prospect of that possibility that we could start to see maybe just the general idea of masculine, what is masculine, be kind of overturned. Who cares? And is it really that big of a deal?
Look at Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Oh my God. I mean, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just, I don't know. I've always been on the side of embracing this because it's something that you cannot help. You cannot help your height. There's not, well,
funny you should say that because I found an article from BuzzFeed that says, he was 5'7". After surgery, he'll be 5'10". This is apparently a surgery that was designed to help limb lengthen for people who maybe have mismatched length in legs. And they are now increased popularity for this procedure that would help give height to.
How does it work?
I don't know exactly. It sounds painful.
Yeah, it sounds incredibly painful. And it sounds like
$75,000 for 3 inches.
Wow.
And you know what?
Jesus.
I'd heard about this before. There was always that urban legend that this was something that women did so that they could, which seems wild that this was the urban legend, but it was growing up that this was something women did so that they could be flight attendants because you had to be a certain height to be a flight attendant. I think you still do. You have to be over a certain height. And so that this was something that women would do. And I remember it being it was in the ligaments in your knees.
Oof.
Is that right?
I don't. It sure explains. I didn't read the article in full. I believe it looks like the procedure is actually done in the thigh bone area.
I feel listen, I always wanted to be taller. I'm 5'4". I'm really 5'3.5". Let's be for real. But I'm 5'4". I always wanted to be 5'7". I wanted to be taller, but I just couldn't. And I'm pro do whatever you want to make yourself feel good about yourself and comfortable and confident and all that stuff. But this just seems like it would be so painful. I feel you'd have to relearn how to walk and stuff. I don't know.
Listen, I feel because I always wanted to be shorter. Speaking as somebody who's 5'8" and has been that height since 12, I always hated it. And I feel if you talk to any single person on this fucking rock that we call Earth, right? They are going to want something about their physical appearance change.
Yeah. Yep.
It's the grass is always greener on the other side. And I think coming to terms with who you are and your own strengths and your own inner beauty is growth and maturity or whatever. But you're also if I had a shit ton of money, would I get lipo or do plastic surgery? Maybe. It's my prerogative. I can do what I want.
I just hate that people feel like they have to, I guess.
I guess,
too. And the thing is, you know,
exactly,
especially height. I don't know why. It just feels.
Well, I know why. I know why for me anyway. Because same. I think about it all the time. I'm as I'm now in my early 30s, I'm maybe I'll do a little bit of something here or there. Usually non-surgical, but I think about those things. If I wanted to, what would I do? And I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with any of it. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with wanting to change something about yourself. Because we get one go around on this earth, and your body is your body, and do what makes you feel good and comfortable in your body. I think the thing that bothers me is that for so long, we are now getting into this like short king spring, talking about short guys that we like. We've got Zendaya and Tom Holland. We've got all that stuff. But for a long time recently, like in the last 5 years or so, like there was a lot of conversation about, and a lot of hate towards guys being shorter, and like it
so
being
weird.
a conversation that was like, no one wants to date somebody who's this height, and then men lying about their height. And like, I empathize with guys under a certain height because they feel
lying
undesirable.
about your height is a whole different topic.
Right. But I think the lying about their height came from not, and absolutely not acceptable. Don't do that. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's this, we know as women, we know this societal pressure of like wanting to be desirable and feeling undesired because of something we can't help. We
can't control. Yeah. It's been like kind of a female thing for a long time, but I do think that the rise in superhero movies has done a lot for male body image issues.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, welcome to the party.
100%.
Come on in.
And again, like don't lie about stuff like that. I'm not at all saying that that's an okay thing to do. I'm just saying like, yeah, man, I get it. When you feel really insecure about your body or some aspect of your body, it manifests in all kinds of ways.
Yeah. But I think an elective surgery that costs that much and has so many risks associated with it, just makes me sad that
for 3 inches.
For 3 inches. Man.
So they did say some people could get up to 5, but I'm just like, oof. Feels like could the long-term effects could be?
Yeah. I have no idea.
And now I have to buy all new pants? No, thank you. No.
Well, we should celebrate short kings. I know we've done an FMK before, but there's plenty of short kings celebs.
Yeah.
And listen, I love a short king. We've talked before, like soccer guys, my aesthetic. So
we know my favorite
they
celeb
tend to
is
be
a short
around
king.
5'7".
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Give me short king all day.
So we're talking short kings. When we say short king, we're saying like under 5'11". Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, under 5'10" even. Yeah.
Okay. Under 5'10". Under 5'10". Let's go.
Well, we all know that my favorite celebrity is a short king.
We don't need to talk about it.
I love Tom Cruise.
We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about it.
You can't stop me from loving Tom Cruise.
Amazing.
You can't stop me.
No.
You can't stop me. But I'm going to pick Jason Schwartzman.
Okay.
Because I also super love him. I didn't even realize he was a short king. But I will tell you, I have had a crush on him since as long as I can remember. I think he is so good looking.
Yeah, he's from the guy from Rushmore.
Yep.
Is that who you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
He's a
Moonrise
Coppola
Kingdom.
too, I think.
Oh, is he really?
I think
did
so.
not
Maybe I'm
know
wrong
that.
about that.
You could be right.
I don't know.
I am going to choose James McAvoy.
I love James McAvoy. Okay, I'm going to go
Strong
completely.
choice.
I'm
Wait,
gonna
were
go-
you with us when we met him?
No.
Pardon?
Oh, sorry. Oh, we were at Christmas. It was Christmas that one year, and we were over by who's the guy from who was Cyclops?
Cyclops.
Oh, you're talking about James Marsden.
That's right. Sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
That
Sorry.
guy
Hot.
is Disney Prince hot.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit. I'm going to go Jack Black.
Okay.
Jack Black.
Jack Black.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
look,
This is tough.
it is tough.
This is
I
actually
think that
tough.
He has such a cute personality.
You don't have to talk us off of
Okay,
Jack
all
Black.
right,
I
listen.
get this. I get where
Okay.
you're coming from. And to be honest, the most like your husband in this group so far.
Well, yeah.
So it makes the most sense.
That's true. Okay, Jason
Well-
Schwartzman, Jack Black, and James McAvoy. Oh, J names. Okay.
Okay.
James McAvoy comes with a Scottish accent,
Yeah, he does.
lest we forget.
Look,
no,
man,
I won't. Trust me.
we won't forget. And I
will not.
had a minor sexual awakening watching him in Atonement
Only minor.
Oh.
when they fuck against the bookshelves.
Only minor.
I
Only
was like,
minor?
I don't know. I was like 13 maybe. And I was like,
I was like, oh.
I wish we knew your vagina's name because that. Oh, hello, Chloe.
I know she
Oh,
was
Susan.
screaming. She was screaming.
She's like, I'm awake.
She was like her eyes were like, wait, what? Say what?
Say what? Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna marry James McAvoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That accent is so sexy. He
He's
seems
hot.
like fun and wry, and I mean, hot, straight up hot all day. I love the roles that he plays. I don't know that much about him personally, but he just gets me going. So I'm going to ride that passion train into a marriage and hope that there's enough commonalities
Gaps in
to
there.
keep
Yeah,
us
to keep you
married.
going. I'm with you. He's got pretty eyes too, I think.
Mhm. Yeah. And then I gotta say, I have met Jason Schwartzman in person.
Oh, yeah?
He is very attractive and very kind in
He
person.
seems like that.
Extremely
That's
This is what's
kind.
making it tough for me.
So yeah, I'm gonna fuck him.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
idea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Bang, bang, bangity, bangity, bang, 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 bangity, bang.
exactly that.
You and Chloe.
He seems nice. He seems fun. I just don't think I could get married to him because he seems a little too nice, actually, for me.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. I know what I'm going to do as well. I believe. No, it's really tough. It's the between the Schwartzman. I mean, as far as marrying,
It's tough.
I really okay. I have a hot take, and this is going to be # not all short men, but I think that shorter men tend to overcompensate in many areas. I think that because they're short, they try harder in the bedroom. I think they're generally smarter. I said it.
Ooh.
I said it.
No, I mean,
I think that they
Keegan's quote is like, "Do you actually like him, or is he tall?"
Right,
You know.
Right. I think it's kind of the same thing. It's like that episode of 30 Rock with John Hamm where he's in the hot person bubble. And so he's terrible at everything, but no one says anything because he's hot. And I feel like really tall guys end up get that a lot too. And it means that you're right. They don't have to try as hard, so they don't apply themselves all the time.
That's right.
You know
They
what I
don't.
mean?
Like I feel like your GPA is lower. You're not trying.
You're just not trying. Like I tried to
you're not
say,
really- yeah,
you're
It's
not
that
smart.
You're not smart.
Yeah.
It's just you're not even trying.
Yeah, you've never had to.
And I feel like Jason Schwartzman is smart. Like
Oh,
I get that. Like we would talk about books. He reminds me
Yeah.
actually, now that I'm thinking of it, like just reminds me the most of Chris, to be fair, of this trio. I think I have to marry Jason Schwartzman.
Okay.
He's kind. He seems intelligent. I feel like we would have a lot to talk about. I feel like there's something about him that would make you feel special no matter what. Like when you're around that person.
Nice.
James McAvoy, this was tough, but I'm gonna. Have you met my friend Josephine?
James, meet Josephine.
Really excited to meet you.
Yes, she has been talking about you all day, nonstop. So, oh man! And as much as I hate to do it, like I look at Jack Black as more like
A friend.
buddy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I would definitely. I want to hang out with him. I would actually feel like we probably have a really good time.
Yeah.
I feel though at some point he might be a bit exhausting if I'm honest.
Sure. Yeah. People who are on all the time or seem like they could be on all the time.
Yeah.
Definitely. Gosh. Okay. This is kind of hard for me because I feel like these are three very different types of men.
Mm-hmm.
And so when thinking about your marriage, it's like, what do you want your marriage to look like?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it makes it kind of hard because I'll start with this. I'm going to fuck James McAvoy. Let's just get that out of the way. Okay.
Stunning.
Done. We're done.
Okay. Got
For
one down.
obvious reasons. We don't even need to talk about it.
Makes sense. Tracks.
Jason Schwartzman and Jack Black, very different types of guys.
That's right.
Very different. And I think that you're right. I think that Jason Schwartzman is going to be, he has that vibe that like when he's talking to you, I bet you he leans all the way to you and like looks at you when he's talking to you, which I love. I love that.
Do you know who else is like that? Adrian Brody.
You have said on this podcast, intense
in a good way. I was like, I feel like like things that I did in middle school. Like that's how deeply he looks at you when he's communicating.
Yeah, he's an old soul.
Yeah, let's not over glamorize this guy. For Halle Berry.
Ooh.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Bummer.
So Jack Black seems fun. And like I can get really bogged down with work and I can get really serious and I can get really overwhelmed. And I feel like Jack Black would be good at leveling you out.
He is Tony.
Yeah.
Yes. No, this is the right answer for you.
Yeah.
There's without a doubt this is the correct answer.
Yeah.
I don't even know where we're
I'm going to go with Jack Black to marry. Yeah. And I agree with you. I don't know if it would last forever. I don't know if it would be a forever marriage because I do feel like at some point I could be like, okay, can you tone it down like a little bit? Like I'm trying to be serious.
He can. I bet he has like a very much like when he's in public around people on, but I bet like when he's, I don't know, he just seems to me like somebody who can be like also be very personal.
Yeah. Also, I learned that his mom is like a super smart feminist. So I love it. Good mother-in-law.
You have a
vibes.
good mother-in-law. Yeah.
Love
so
to see
I'm going to go with that. And Jason Schwartzman, I love him. I do. Yeah. I think that he's great. I love watching him in films. And I do think he's cute, but gotta do what you gotta do.
No, it makes sense. These all make sense for all of us, actually.
Yeah. There we go.
Tracks.
Oh, man. Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good.
Right.
And we're back. Okay, Cassie, kick us off with some stories.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So we got this in our mail and it says, I had terrible first dates, but this takes the cake.
Oof.
Long story short, I was probably an accomplice to a crime, but didn't ask questions to prevent this from happening.
Oh, no. Starting strong.
I'm working in New York City at the time when an old college acquaintance asks me for a date after work. We decided to head down, we decided to head downtown. So I met him outside of his office since I was heading in that direction. He was waiting outside, but had invited me up into his office to retrieve something he had forgotten. We retrieved the item, and he asked to make one last stop at the convenience store just next door before heading to our destination. I had paid no mind to anything at the time as we picked up a newspaper and made our way to the train. Once we got to the train, he starts acting very sus, looking over his shoulder, fidgety, and I noticed him peeking into that folded newspaper he'd just bought.
Oh, dear.
Then he asked me if I could hold it in my purse for the time being. I agreed, and having a large-sized tote, just placed the paper next to my laptop, but felt a bit of a bulk inside the newspaper.
No.
This feels like a movie, right? Like it feels like you're in a movie.
Like,
okay. Even then, maybe could have gotten away with whatever it was that he was trying to accomplish, but he just was on the edge the whole time on the train ride, and even asked me if the paper was still in my bag. At that point, I started plotting my exit strategy, but concluded I deserved a meal to make up for this discomfort. It wasn't until we exited the subway when he asked me for the newspaper that I saw that there were 2 mailing envelopes with pressed stacks of dollars within the pages of the newspaper.
Whoa. I don't know what I was expecting.
Like mafia shit?
Yeah, but it was not that. I don't know. I thought maybe he stole something like a beer or something from inside the convenience store. I didn't think that. What's happening?
I wasn't even curious as to what he was up to. I simply figured the less I know, the better. By the way, the story was called Maybe Mafia? ?
Oh, absolutely. I'm like, literally.
You don't take a first date with you to go pick up a mafia drop off. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You don't know this person.
We get to the restaurant where he'd requested a seat at the patio out front. He tells me I have to sit facing the building because I can't have his back turned to the street.
Okay.
It me.
I mean, it is you, but Look, this feels like very much like some Sopranos bullshit right now.
I know.
Everything is so sus up to this point. After we order, he tells me that he'll be right back, crosses the street, makes his way down to a block into a building or a store, I don't know, and with the newspaper, and disappears for about 20 minutes. Overall, catching up cut the awkwardness to some degree, but I was counting down the seconds I could be done with this date. He seemed much more relaxed at that point. To this day, that was the longest train ride I've ever experienced. It was only 6 to 8 stops. I remember him mentioning how cool I was for not asking questions, where I responded, questions about what?
Why are you putting me in a position where I should need to be asking questions? This is a first date. I just feel like you're coming in really hot.
Yeah.
Like really, really hot.
He wanted the date to continue, but I declined. I texted him to thank him for the meal and blocked him the following day. Down the road, it came out that he had used to be a bookie, and that could explain the exchange, but I can't understand the shade.
Yeah, no, that's too much.
That's illegal activities. Yes. Illegal activities are going on.
On my date, you couldn't do this any other time?
Literally.
That you need to keep that for your TikTok series about like really common worst date things where like people take their date on like drug deals.
Crimes.
And stuff.
Crimes.
And crimes.
Like what?
Sir.
Do crimes on your own time. Yeah. Okay?
Yes. Like do your crimes. You keep your crimes to yourself.
One of my favorites is the one that took you on the drug deal.
Oh, yeah.
That was so weird. With his bicycle?
Yes, with his bike.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, you put his bike in the back of your car, right?
That's right. And I took him on a drug deal.
Oh my God.
Unknowingly.
Just
goodbye.
Incredible.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Well, this one is really short, but it also has all the audacity. Okay. On the phone prior, my date told me he'd love to have a beach picnic and would bring all we needed. When we got to Coney Island, he proceeded to pull from his backpack an aluminum emergency blanket. It was
what? Like one of those crunchy,
yes,
like when you
like
run.
light reflective, aluminum blanket. Yes. And she says it was 95 degrees, swampy New York heat. So that's your picnic blanket that you're going to sit on in a 95 degree New York summer day.
No.
On the beach.
No. It's like reflecting heat. Just fucking microwaving me. Extra crispy.
Horrible. And he set it down for us.
Oh, no.
He sat and opened his bag wider to reveal a rather large bottle of cherry lubricant.
Oh.
What?
Huh?
Through giggles. I'm sorry. This is so funny to me. Through giggles, he said, I told you I'd be sure to bring all we needed. No food. Just lube.
So this motherfucker was like, I got a picnic.
Put his dick on a plate.
He brought aluminum foil and a fucking cherry lube.
That's exactly what it says. Just lube and tin foil. Like, you are not gonna fuck me on the beach on a first date on top of a hot blanket.
Oh my God.
With hot lube too. Like that lube has been warmed.
It's been in this motherfucker's bag all day in the sun. So hot cherry lube and tinfoil.
In public, we just met. We just met.
Tinfoil. I think that's the name of the fucking episode.
Stop it. Oh my God. In a panic, I received a fake emergency call and said I needed to babysit my younger sibling. He ended up calling me so many times after that he filled up my voicemail box. It trailed off, but it was a horrifying experience.
That is horrifying.
My God.
Oh,
wow. No. I told you I'd bring everything we needed.
Oh, no. Sir. That's not a picnic. That's a fucking skin broil.
Where's your, like, meat snacks and cheese snacks and
where's
grapes
my charcuterie?
And watermelon.
Yeah.
He's like, no, this is a cherry sausage boil.
Oh, my God.
I love people that think that they can get laid on a first date, like in strange situations like that.
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah. Also, a beach is
Coney Island sounds busy.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And a beach in general, we've discussed this. It's like not everybody wants to be fucked in the sand, man. Like
No.
it's very gritty. Like this is not
Awful.
Grease, right? I feel like people watched Grease and they heard that like getting down in the sand line that John Travolta does. And they were like, yes, that'll work for me. And it's like, no, my guy.
There was a time, I think in the 80s, right? When it was like, oh, long walks on the beach. Like beaches were like the place. It was like
And jacuzzis.
yes.
Listen, I love
Just-
both of those things. We don't need to like
Not during
that
the
can
sex.
be foreplay. We can go have a long walk on the beach and then please take me back to your beach house in a very nice soft comforter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right.
Like no.
Hot tinfoil.
Hot.
Oh.
You don't own any other blankets? Why is
No.
this the only blanket you brought for a It's perplexing. Perplexing.
Oh,
You know what? I
man.
feel like he didn't even plan ahead. It was just a tote with a big thing of cherry lube in it. And then he was like, shit, I need a blanket for us to sit on. And he had it in his like emergency car
Yes. He's like,
thing
that'll
in
do.
his
It's a
trunk.
blanket.
He's like, that'll work.
That'll
It's
work.
a blanket.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I got mine from Reddit and buckle up. Okay. He says, met her online, went to go pick her up and found out she was deaf. Wasn't a deal breaker, but definitely something I would have liked to have known beforehand. We go to a pizza place and she orders both of us absinthe.
Wait.
Whoa.
Also, whoa,
Hey.
what? Oh,
Listen, again, presumptuous.
That's
I
a-
just
Strong.
fucking on the beach and absinthe on a first date without letting me know. I feel
Strong
like
entry.
very presumptuous.
is very up close and personal for sure. I'm a tad bit concerned at this point. I drink mine, she drinks hers. She orders more. I pass on the second one because I have to drive this girl back home.
Wait. Okay, sorry. Not to interrupt you. I mean, I did interrupt you, but two absinthes?
Mm-hmm. Oh no, just wait.
Okay, all right.
Oh no.
In total, she ends up having 5 shots of absinthe.
Oh, that's
Oh
too
my
many.
God.
That's too many.
I've
that's
only
too many.
done absinthe once in my life. I only had like 1 shot and I had been drinking other things on top of it. And I remember that was a wild ride. I can't even imagine doing 5.
I got
shots
really
of-
messed up on absinthe. The absinthe. I was drinking other things on top of it too, but the first time I had absinthe, I got really fucked up on it. But 5 shots of anything
True.
on
True.
a first date, like
Fact.
it's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Ooh, but 5 shots of absinthe feels so much worse.
Yeah, and it tastes like licorice, so you know her breath just also not good.
She's rambling about different things about what she does, but I can barely understand her because of being blasted off absinthe. I resort to texting back and forth with her, and then her texts stop making sense.
Wait,
Oh,
so you're sitting together
no.
at a table or at the bar
no.
texting?
Oh no. Oh no. Oh,
Okay.
no.
Once we get done eating, I'm ready for the night to be over, so I offer to drive her back home. We get in her driveway, and she goes to kiss me. I kiss her a bit back, but I know she's hammered because she started drinking more after the absinthe.
Ma'am.
Why? As someone who likes to drink, why? I ask you.
I hate
That's
it.
a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot to do with the stranger. Yeah. I pull away and offer to walk her to the door so she can make it there safely. Right when I do that, she pulls her underwear off
No.
and
No.
starts slapping her vagina like it owed her money. I started to panic.
Oh,
Is that the female equivalent of a dick on a plate?
yes.
Exactly.
Like this is
no.
oh no. No. Consent, ma'am.
Oh no. I start to panic. I need to get this girl out of my car. I'm kind of just sitting there in shock at this. And I've tried multiple times to get her to
How are
stop,
you gonna get her out? How
but
are you gonna get her out?
She can't hear me, and she's just
Oh no. Oh no.
I end up having to get out of my car while she was doing this and praying that she had a friend or roommate or somebody that can help me with her.
Oh no.
I knock on the door
No.
and this other girl answers. I ask, "Are you deaf?" And she says no. I explain the situation and beg her to help me get her out of the car. Her answer was, Jesus, not again.
No. No.
Again? Like, this has happened
Why is
before?
Why is this the go-to move? Why is this the move?
Oh, dude, slapping your pussy in fucking car. Wow. I would get this girl out of my car and inside, and I thanked the friend and get the hell out of there. I think I threw the girl's underwear in her driveway and hauled ass home.
Oh my God.
Look.
Oh my God.
Don't go whipping anything out.
No, keep it inside.
Yeah.
Unless we have had an explicit conversation
About
Listen,
we know that's what we want. Okay.
Yep.
you don't have to take your clothes off to have a good time. There was a
Yep.
song about it.
Yep.
You can keep them on. What is wrong with you? Slapping your
Jesus, not again.
again. Slapping the bitch.
Friend dogging her out like that. I was like,
Damn.
man, that roommate is tired of being in that position.
That
That's for
roommate
sure.
is literally on like
So
apartments.com
Yeah.
right now. Like
Yeah.
that roommate is looking for
Immediately.
a new roommate constantly because can you no, I don't want to
Yeah.
be cleaning up
Yeah.
other people's shit like that.
Five shots of absinthe to me says that she also probably isn't on top of the dishes.
Oh, girl.
You know, there's a lot going on. She's like, I'm fucking tired of this shit.
What a choice. 5 shots of absinthe. What you know what? We're about to have a girls' weekend because spoiler alert, listeners, we're recording this before our live show. You will be listening to it after our live show. But yeah, why don't we have like a cozy night in? I'll get us a bottle of absinthe.
Bottle of wine. No,
I don't feel like going to space this weekend.
I'm good. I'm like, wait, no, not that. I'm like,
I don't
bottle of
even
wine.
like it. I don't even like absinthe. It
No.
tastes terrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hate licorice. Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, you guys want to take 5 real quick and come back with
Tainted Love?
Yeah.
Are you struggling to lose weight and keep it off? Tired of wasting time and money on starvation diets that lead to more frustration and stress? If there was a weight loss solution that could actually work for you, would you try it? Then head to Golo.com.
I'm Steve. I lost 138 pounds in 9 months on Golo.
I'm Amber. I've lost 128 pounds with Golo.
If you're ready to take back control of your life, head to Golo.com now and see how Golo can work for you. That's Golo.com.
My sleep is way better. My inflammation has gone way down. Golo saved my life. I was way overweight. That's what sent me down the path. I wanted to make sure and live for my kid.
I have literally tried everything. I was on the verge of getting gastric bypass surgery, and I saw the Golo commercial, and it was the last thing I tried because it worked.
Join over 2 million people who found a better way to lose weight with Golo. Your healthier and happier life begins at Golo.com. That's Golo.com. Again, Golo.com.
And we're back. All right, Cassie, kick us off with some stories. Or it's just one. Just the one story is good.
Just, I only have the one. Thank goodness. I was nervous for a second. I was like, oh shit. Should I have prepared more? All right, you guys, I'm going to tell you. First of all, I got all of my information. It was actually really hard to find information on this because it was a snapped episode, and which was interesting. But I also always like to dig a little deeper because
Right.
we know that it tends to be a little one-sided.
Biased. Yeah.
What I will say is that I find it very hard to believe that there's only one side to the story. So like, it doesn't
Ooh.
feel like it's biased. And from the basically, you know, it interviews so many people from the family. It's pretty. It seems pretty straightforward.
Okay.
So I got information from there. I found an article on oxygen.com, but there wasn't a whole lot. Some old newspaper articles that kind of just echoed the same things.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
all right. So this is the story of Michael LaCaze. He was born in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Good luck spelling Natchitoches. I'll share it with you later. He is described by all of his friends as like a real, true cowboy. And he's just like good, salt of the earth, Louisiana guy. He meets Rhonda, his high school sweetheart when he's just 17 years old and she is 14.
Whoa.
Or no.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They get married?
Yeah.
When she is 14.
I didn't even say that yet, but yes.
I don't
14 years old.
like that.
They interview Rhonda on the show. So they talk to her and they were very much in love. And
Of
they
course,
end up,
you're 14.
yeah, I know. Could you imagine?
We were
14
just talking
years-
on the break
Just
about like
talking.
the dumb shit we did like as like 13-year-old, 14-year-olds in high school. Like we okay. Anyway, I know that's not the point. I'm just saying.
It's not, but it is. Yes. I also was like, I'm sorry. Did you say 14? Rewind.
I thought
I'm
I was
sorry?
going to marry Johnny Depp at 14. I had an entire wall of Johnny Depp collage photos at 14. You can't trust me to make decisions.
No. You definitely cannot trust me to have married somebody at 14. I
No.
can't. I'm literally trying to think of who I would be married to if I was married at 14.
I was still on my train. That guy, I know I've shared it with you before, that I wrote the softcore porn
Yeah.
about in my diary.
Uh-huh.
That was my husband at the time.
Oh.
And we have since seen that I dodged a bullet.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is briefly following that TikTok I made where I sent a guy a note where I sprayed my perfume on it and told him to sniff here, circled it. Yeah, that person can't get married, ma'am.
No. If you're writing yes or no on anything, you cannot get married. You're not allowed.
I am 40 and I barely adult. That is something that we were talking about on the break
Yes.
too. How I'm just like, it is a fucking struggle to be an adult.
It
At
is.
fucking 40, let
14.
alone 14.
Let
14.
me tell you both. I am staying at Thomas, our editor's house. They're staying somewhere else at the moment. So I've been like staying kind of alone for the last like 2 weeks, living alone in this house. I'm alone most of the time. And it is like, I'm barely a functioning adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. 14.
No.
14 and they have 2 children, 2 sons. And he takes care of his family. He starts to work on a cattle farm and he is, working. She's staying home with the kids. They seemingly are very happy. And at 19 though, he is diagnosed with a polycystic kidney disease, but he is one of the hardest working guys you'll ever meet.
Wow.
So, I mean, he's diagnosed with this, but he's like, this is not going to slow me down. He's like, he's got 2 kids to take care of, a wife. And he's like, I'm just going to, work as hard as I possibly can. And he just does. I mean,
year does this take place at?
so then you're talking, their son was born in 1978, which is my age. So this is like, imagine 14 years older than me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
'Cause
So, I mean,
this
this is like, yeah. She was
'Cause-
born in what, 60s?
Yeah. Because this is like, something I didn't realize was the concept of teenagers is one that just appeared
Yeah.
it like post World War I.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Beforehand,
think about it.
teenager was
Sure.
not a phase. Like you're an adult at 14.
Yes, you are
You're
a
like,
child,
kids.
and now you are an adult who can go to war. Good luck.
Yeah. Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah, the whole thing, I'm like, I'm blown away that this is happening in the 70s. Just still stuck on the fact of like 19 years old. He's like full blown career. And then now this diagnosis, and he's got a wife and kids at home. And I'm like,
Yeah. Rhonda.
not any 19-year-olds
Balancing
I
his
know.
checkbook, paying.
Right? Paying bills. Jesus.
I was an idiot at
Gosh.
19. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. But you know what, though? Like, there is something to be said about, like, I don't know. I mean, I had a son at 18. There's a lot of growing up you do. There's a lot of things that you're like, oh, I couldn't do that until I'm X, Y, or Z. But it's funny how you become X, Y, and Z very quickly when you're kind
you
of
have
put in those
to.
situations.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
True.
I guess, 14, 15, 16, 17, whatever. It's just, you do what you got to
Figure it
do.
out.
You figure it out and you make it work. And
That's amazing.
and
me.
they did.
That
and
is
they,
amazing.
Yeah. I mean, they're just a couple young kids, doing the thing. And, he's busting his ass working at this cattle farm. He works very closely with one of his best friends. His best friend's name is Maryland. These two are like thick as thieves, man. They are just, 2 cowboys living their best lives. out, working the cattle farm. She was like, Rhonda was like, he would wear spurs. I mean, he was like a genuine cowboy.
Wow.
Man's man, right? And, despite having this kidney disease, he was, it wasn't something that affected his day to day. So he was able to do what he wanted. In 1990, though, they did split. Both of them were just like, Rhonda explained, she's like, I thought I was in love, of course. 14 years old in love, you think you know it all.
Time, actually.
Yeah.
Like they were married for a good chunk
like
of time.
12, 15 years, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, and if you think about it, that's a pretty decent amount of time for a young couple. I mean, and she even said like it didn't seem like it ended poorly necessarily. It just was like I think both recognized that they were just kind of young,
different people at that point.
Normalize a natural conclusion. Right?
Yes.
It's just like this has just run its course because you got married at 14 and there's a lot of changing that happens to human beings in that time period, and just normalize the fact that it's like, okay, you didn't know what you needed for the next 80 years of your life.
Right.
At 14.
And it's not a failure because it ended.
That's right.
It served you for that time.
Mm-hmm.
It gave you what you needed to move on. Like, there's so many times, and I even felt this myself with the ending of my marriage, feeling it as a failure. And it's not. It's
just a chapter. It's a chapter in your life that you close, and you're moving to a different chapter.
Yep.
It doesn't mean that anybody failed, and I think that is definitely how they are coming to terms with their relationship. It's not that it was a failure or that it was sad. It was just that they just are different people. They're grown adults now and living their habits are different. Their thinking is different. Their lives are different. So so they split and went their separate ways. I think there was some sadness involved, but they both, again, I think it was pretty amicable. But just 2 years after that, Mike was on the dating scene again, and he'd met this woman named Princess. And Princess was, it's not a huge town, so Princess was kind of known around town, but it wasn't really Princess that was known as much as her father, Joe, who apparently was had a real spicy temper and was kind of a real...
Look, I feel like he's just out. He's out with it, naming his daughter Princess.
I was just going to say, that is a choice as a parent that you make to name your child, and that's what you're going with. I'm like, okay, that's...
Yeah, I've actually met a princess before, and I have to say... I do think, I'm not surprised to hear the dad had a temper or whatever. I'm like, you're coming out with it and you're like, my daughter is my princess.
Mm-hmm.
If you fuck with her, I will kill you. That's the vibe I get if you're coming out strong with naming your kid Princess. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So he's a real piece of work. Everyone knows Joe. This guy has a notorious temper, but Princess meets Mike and they fall for each other pretty quickly. She's actually 30 years old at the time, and as well is divorced. She has 3 kids. So, they're funny, but everybody kind of describes them as opposites. Everybody's like, she's very much outgoing. He's the spurs, cowboy boots,
strong,
work
silent
hard
type.
Yes, exactly. Comes in a little rugged, a little dirty, and she is the always dressed to the nines,
princess,
heels, princess. Exactly. But opposites attract, and they seem to be absolutely smitten and in love with each other. And it's just 4 years into their marriage when Mike gets some actually devastating news. I wouldn't say devastating, but it's bad news, right? The kidney disease that he had been diagnosed with when he was 19, the polycystic kidney disease, has actually turned for the worse. And what had been kind of under control or been simply just managed for a very long time is now becoming something that is detrimental. And they didn't have a ton of options, but they do have options. One of those options being that he may need to get a kidney transplant at some point.
Wow.
But short term, they're going to take care of him through dialysis.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to have to start a dialysis regimen.
Okay.
Which is not a end of, that's not a life sentence.
It's something to deal with. It's scary, but it seems like there's at least a plan in place.
Absolutely. And so they had come to terms with it. It seemed that Joe was really just like, it's bad news, but let's do this. We're going to work toward this. But just 2 days before his first dialysis treatment, the police get a call from Princess. She has come home. She has found her husband on the floor by the kitchen bar. He is no shirt on, jeans on, laying in a pool of blood. And she says, I walked in and I saw him on the floor and I didn't touch anything, just turned around, left, and called the police.
Okay.
I
mean, if I saw my partner there, I would probably, we have cell phones and stuff now, so I could be like, I would be checking. I would be touching. Mm-hmm. I think.
Well, she had a cell phone. She went outside.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing.
This is 1997.
It's hard because you can say it either way, right? Like, who's to say what you would do in any given situation, yada, yada, yada. We say that all the time.
Yeah, it's that whole Sarah Jessica Parker thing with the Sex in the City.
I was going to say that.
Who's not calling 911
Why aren't you calling
in that
911? But I would say, I think my impulse would be
go see them.
To go check. Yeah.
I just can't imagine walking in my door, seeing Chris on the floor, and not immediately just going right to him to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
And if he's still alive, can I do any CPR? Can I do anything?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Is he bleeding out of something that I can put something on top? Like, right. Stop the blood.
No clue. Right. Okay. So I had to bring it up that way because that's how it was presented. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Right. And I always like to take it with like, yes, none of us know what we would do. This is an extreme circumstance. The mind is weird. Emotional responses are weird. So I don't ever want to take it as like definitive proof that something is off, but it's also like.
But I feel like if that's where your brain is going when you see your supposed loved one on the ground, that the first thing your brain is going to is make sure to not touch anything so you can preserve a crime scene.
Yeah.
Kind of says like that's where your brain naturally is going first.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that you think.
Instead of maybe they slipped and hit their head on something.
Right. Yeah.
Or this was an accident. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all very suspicious to me immediately. And the police, as soon as they get there, they get the call that Mike is shot. They know immediately when they get there it's a murder because he has been shot. He's been shot through the back. So they're like right away they're like, well, it's not suicide. It's not, they go through all the what could it be? But they look around and they do notice that, the place is a bit of a wreck. There's drawers have been pulled out. There's papers everywhere. It's
someone tried to stage a burglary.
Yeah.
Failed miserably because nothing was taken.
Yes, exactly right. There were some things taken. The things that were taken were a few pictures, because that's what you would rob a place for.
What? Listen.
It's my least favorite thing.
So many staged burglary stories before, and I'm like, why does no one ever think through it, even the tiniest bit? Like they always take things that no one would take, like or nothing at all. They just overturn stuff.
Pull out drawers.
Yeah,
and you're like,
nailed it, guys.
That's not
how
this works.
Okay.
Jesus.
Cool.
Anywho, so yeah, the police are looking around again. They're suspicious, but there had been a string of robberies in the neighborhood, so they were like, okay, well, we can't just completely dismiss it yet because they really at this time don't know what's missing, which again we later find out is just a couple pictures. So they take Princess in. Of course, she's the closest to the deceased, so she is automatically going to be a suspect. So and she's also the one who found the body. So they take her into the police station. Where were you today? Where, what was going on? Mm-hmm. She's like, I was at work, which was easily corroborated. And then she was like, and I was at Walmart. Here's my receipts. Time stamped at 6:30 p.m. And I didn't make it home until 7. It was just like, she was ready, receipts in hand. And
listen, that is suspect. But I was thinking yesterday, I was leaving Walgreens and the cashier at Walgreens was like, do you want your receipt? And I was like, nope. And then walked out. And every time I do that, I think about that Patrice O'Neill sketch where he's like, always get a receipt. Always get a receipt because like
Always.
they're going to try and pin a crime on you. Like he's talking about like as a black man,
Yeah.
he's like, they're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
try and pin a crime on you. So always get a receipt so that
Yeah.
you can show them where you were whenever. And I thought about that. Like as I was walking to my car, I'm like, I should have gotten a receipt, like just in cases, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
But with this day and age with the cameras and stuff, I feel like they
You can
and
be like, I went to this Walgreens, and you'd show up on camera.
100%.
or
100%.
your credit card being used.
Right.
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
Yeah. But yes, it is suspicious. You came to this interview to talk about your husband who just died. I
Not
feel like
crying,
I would
not upset.
I wouldn't
not
be
even-
thinking clearly at all. I would not
No.
be thinking clearly enough to make sure I grab. I can hardly remember to grab receipts for our like business deductions.
Thank you.
I can't remember.
I
like,
I was getting my taxes done and couldn't remember the password to get to my receipts for school stuff because I was so stressed out. I'm not going to know immediately where my Walmart receipt is to prove that I didn't kill my husband. I just can't, there's no way.
yeah,
Yeah.
suspicious.
No. I need time to think. I need a lawyer.
Yeah.
I
also
need a lawyer and I need time to think. I need somebody to help me.
Yes, yeah.
'Cause
I
I
need someone
can't think.
actually to do my thinking for me because I would be
Yes.
so like mentally foggy.
Oh, I would confess and not have done it. Like I am so like
to be for
flustered?
real, that is
Flustered.
like actually my fear. Is
I
because I'm
know.
just like, I get so worked up and people pleasy that I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to hear? Like, oh God.
yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, I know. My anxiety
I'm
can't
stressed.
could not handle it.
I would fail a lie detector test on sheer anxiety alone.
Yeah.
Just
They'd be
sheer.
like, wait, is your name Keegan?
Right.
'Cause this
I don't
is
know.
Showing it's a lie.
I don't know, is it? I mean, who's to say? It's just
do
the
you
one
want
my
my
mom
name to
gave
be
me.
Keegan? I can't tell.
Is it because I didn't tell you my full name? Should I tell you my full name today? Should I give you my middle name
Is
too?
it messing up already? Did I fail?
Oh man. They couldn't find anyone though. Like they were like literally like, who in the hell would want to hurt Mike? He doesn't have any overdue pills. He busts his ass. He's a hard worker. He owes no one anything. He is literally everyone's friend. He's a good guy. He's obvious, it just none of this makes sense. Again, the robbery was really more of just a rummage through, and that they determined very quickly. But again, like I said, they're like, could it have been like an out of town transient? Why would they have picked this house? There's just so much. It just doesn't make any sense. And truly, like even the people who knew them as a couple was like, this just is really weird. Like it doesn't make sense. So they reach out to neighbors, which is where they get their first actual lead. Someone remembers seeing a black Suburban in the area recently, which was suspicious to them because that's how country people live. They're like, I've never seen a black Suburban in this neighborhood.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I'm talking about.
100%. I've been in the Midwest for a few weeks now. It is so different in the ways that people are so observant. Like again, that Walgreens I went to, I've gone to it one other time and that woman remembered me at the checkout. So that's the way it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's small town, especially like a little bit rural. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
people you're being watched and
Yep.
people definitely notice things that are out of character. My mom's house, like how small that place is,
Yep.
they know the cars. She'll be like literally like yards and yards away. She'd be like, "Oh, Cheryl's driving by." And
Yep.
it's just like
Yeah.
just
That's-
a random
that's some
car
real country
on a country
shit.
road. I'm like, okay.
Real country shit right there. But the person who saw the Suburban was able to also give a description of the driver, and they put together a composite sketch. They asked Princess to do a walkthrough to see if anything was missing. Again, just a few photos. The police asked their family, they were like, yeah, actually, we think it's Princess who did it. So for as much as everybody kind of thought everything seemed to be hunky-dory, the family was like, nah, she awful.
Like his family or her family?
His family.
Oh my God. I thought you were talking about her family. And I'm like, that's a whole nother level that they're like,
They're like, Princess is a monster.
we don't trust her.
But more than that, it wasn't even that they just thought Princess was involved. They think it was her dad, Joe.
Of course
Oh,
it was.
Yeah, they're like, we are certain that it was Joe. He has such a temper. This guy is notorious. He didn't like them together. And to get her out of this marriage, he would have done it for sure. So They interview Joe. He shows the police. He's like, it wasn't me. It couldn't possibly have been me. I can prove it. They were like, he's like, what gun was even used? I'll show you my entire gun collection. They eliminate him actually fairly quickly. They were like, it wasn't him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Unexpected.
I thought it was, that's how I ended it in my head.
Yep,
Me
yep.
too.
Joe did it. Yep.
All right.
It's not him. So they are still keeping an eye out for this black SUV, but 5 months pass. Nothing is coming up. But in September, Princess comes into the station with a news story about a hired assisted suicide.
Okay.
Princess. Just why? Okay, listen.
Why? Like,
Why?
literally, just stay
unsolicited.
quiet.
Just
I know.
Stay
I mean,
quiet longer.
just
That's
between
exactly
what are you doing?
between
makes
this
no
and the
sense.
story that I told last week, where I'm just like, if you just shut the fuck up, just
Yeah.
stop. You might
Just
be able
shut
to
the
get out of
fuck
this. Stop it.
Well, okay. So she's like, originally, when she was interviewed, she had said that they were excited about the prospects with his new treatment. But now suddenly he's like, you know what? He was actually very sick and he'd actually wanted to commit suicide. He'd actually asked me to help him commit suicide and I just couldn't do it.
Because he had to go to dialysis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dialysis.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Rumors around town, though, are that Princess was seeing Maryland, had been seen with Maryland around town. So this is her husband's best friend.
Oh.
And since Mike's passing, she had been on 2 very elaborate vacations to the Bahamas and Hawaii. She had 4 policies under his name.
That's too
for
many.
$25,000 each. Wasn't a ton each, but that's still a lot of policies.
Why are there
to-
4? Is that normal? Do people pull out that many?
Feels like a lot.
It
And I
feels like
feel
a
like
lot.
they probably were low and that many because he had pre-existing.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense
Sure.
because he has a pre-existing condition that you would have
For
life
low,
insurance.
maybe. Yeah, life insurance.
But yeah, they probably couldn't afford like a big policy on him because of his pre-existing conditions. So
Yeah.
they
I didn't
just-
even know you could take out 4 separate policies.
I didn't.
You
either.
can take out as many as you want.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, let's not get crazy here.
Yeah.
Is there anything we should know?
She's like, I got one on both of you.
God damn it, I knew it. But she'd also sold their house, their property. She also had taken some trips with Maryland to Houston and to New Orleans. Also, Princess was also known to have been shortly after his death, not just been seen with this Maryland guy, but this other guy named Simon Sarpy. Princess was quickly becoming the top suspect in this murder. And Simon, though, is, because the rumors around town are like, hey, she's been hanging out with the Simon guy too. They bring him in, they interview him, and he's like, yeah, so turns out she did confess to me that she was seeing Marilyn for 2 years.
Oof.
She'd been seeing him for the past 2 years when her husband was alive. And she had also told me that she knows how he died and that the gun that was used to kill him was in the river. Now,
Why? Just stop talking.
yep. Now she's telling people he asked her to kill him, but that he had known that she couldn't do it. She says that she now knows that Maryland did it. But she's not sure of the details. But she is certain that because she was unable to do it, that Maryland.
She gonna try to throw that motherfucker under the bus.
Yeah, what
'Cause
happened with Maryland?
I guarantee you he got like a twinge of conscience or something. She's like, I got to get out ahead of this.
Yep.
This motherfucker's gonna talk, so I'm gonna put my spin on it. I'm gonna spit polish this turd. Try to sell it.
She's like, this should go for a good price. So she does. She spit polishes that turd and just is like, Marilyn did it. But his wife and his best friend now are both arrested. They get bailed out, which is actually fine. The police are like, we're kind of happy that they bailed out because that meant that they could kind of keep an eye on them,
Tail 'em.
monitor them. Where are they going? What are you doing? Who you talking to? Who you seeing?
And because not Maryland, Princess can't stop running her mouth. Just give her enough opportunities to talk, and she's going to get caught up.
They're
Yeah.
like, these guys are fools. At this point, they're going to give themselves up. But it's in May of 1998 that a new 911 call comes in, and Princess has called the police again. And it says that her dad has a man at gunpoint on their property. That man is Maryland. And the police get there and they're like, yeah, let's go ahead and arrest this guy. So they arrest him pretty much to save him because Joe is, we know, a piece of work. And they arrest him and they bring him into the prison or into the jail. And he tells them, he's like, I was invited over. Maryland, or Princess called me, asked me to come over. I get there and I'm faced with her dad and a gun. And he tells police that Princess asked him to kill Mike for her. And if he was gone, that they could be together. They had been seeing each other for the past 2 years. So what he says he does is he has his 14-year-old son drive him over to Mike's house.
Oh,
Listen.
no.
That's your fucking homie, too.
Yeah.
No.
This is, imagine your dad's best friend.
You don't even have a license. You're 14.
Your dad asks you to drive you over to his best friend's house.
No.
And he kills him. You tell me you didn't hear that. It was a shotgun. You heard that.
Wow.
Why are people like this? That's horrifying.
Awful.
Honestly, like, why are you fucking your friends anything?
Yes. And then get
How
your
many people
son
are in the
involved.
world that you need?
But now your son's involved in this too.
Wow.
Because now he is going to be an accomplice, right?
Yeah.
He fucking drove you to a fucking murder. You just got your 14-year-old son involved in this bullshit now. God, it's
That
so
poor
fucking
kid.
bonker. And yes, 14-year-old son now knows that he's involved in your best friend's fucking murder.
Wow.
How fucked is that, dude? So anyway, he says his son drove him there. He said that the Mike died instantly, that he threw the gun in the river. They do find the gun in the river, parts of it anyway. And he pleads guilty to manslaughter for testimony against Princess because they're like, well, we want Princess as well. We know she's involved. You told us that she asked you to do it. We want to take her down too. But so they do. Princess is found guilty. She is sentenced to life in prison. But in 2011, the conviction is reversed on an appeal because they didn't divulge that in return for the testimony that his sentence was reduced, but also that his son was not going to be prosecuted because that was part of the deal that was made. But they didn't divulge the details of the deal to her, and they have to. That's part of the
Yeah, because you have to be able to
Proceedings.
inform the jury because it speaks to maybe their intent as to why they're speaking. You know, like people will say a lot of things to save their own ass. So
That's
yeah,
right.
no, it makes sense that it was overturned.
Yeah, it does make sense that it was overturned on the appeal. The 2017 though, there was a retrial for the manslaughter, and in which she pled guilty to the manslaughter plea, but most of it was time served. So she got 17 years. She'd already served like 13 or 14 years, and she was only going to get basically one more year of prison.
Wow.
So for what was very clearly a
Like
setup
a
plot,
murder,
some
murder for hire.
plot. Yeah.
Yeah. With the dude's best friend.
God.
Well, that
Isn't
happens
that
a lot
fucked?
in these stories we tell.
Yeah, I just the one that I just shared a few weeks ago.
I
Yep.
can't imagine
She was
being able
hooking
to keep something from Chris for 2 fucking years. I can't even
Long
keep
drawn
2
out
minutes
affairs.
affair with his
Yeah.
best friend.
That's a lot. It's very much compartmentalization. I
Wow.
would say. Wow.
Wow.
Good one, Cass.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
Wow.
never heard of that one
Yeah, me
before.
neither.
I'm still hung up on a 17 and a 14-year-old like
Okay.
acting
Me
like
too.
playing
Full
house.
adults. Full ass adults.
I cannot. No, me too. And then a 14-year-old drive it. Like, what's going on in this part of Louisiana? Everybody, 14-year-olds are not adults. Stop it.
You're like
Yes.
14. You could drive me to a murder.
Oh my
good.
gosh. It must be a rural area
Very.
because that's the other thing that's like at my mom's house. Like my brother was driving at like 13.
Yeah, you're like, there's less to run
country
into.
roads and stuff like that. So they were like, hey, take the truck and go down this way. My fucking tiny brother at that point with this tiny kid just behind a truck, just
Jesus. And those trucks were so, like, I mean, you're talking about a full metal clunking, like, those things are
honestly probably the safest he could be, though.
Exactly.
You hit something, like, you're fine. Nothing's
you're
gonna happen
hard
to you.
Tin can. You're fine.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, what are you guys watching / reading? Everything like that this week?
I'm not watching anything new, but I did start reading, and I borrowed this from Cassie. I started reading The Night Circus because I was reading Ninth House, which I just think it's good. It's just my brain is not in that place right now. And I wanted something just like a little bit more whimsical. So I brought The Night Circus with me on my trip, and I started reading it, and I'm only a couple of chapters in, but I really like it so far.
Okay.
It has that like magical realism element to it that's very kind of like fantastical and fantasy so far, that I'm really enjoying. So I'm liking that, The Night Circus.
Nice.
Interesting.
I am not really watching anything new. I think I told you guys about the Alone journey that we went on, which is still to me the wildest, most incredible reality TV show that I can't believe actually gets on air, where you're literally watching people being hunted by bears. It is a Hunger Games where I was like, oh, we're at late stage capitalism as a wild bride,
man. Like, I believe that aliens exist and they don't want us. Like, I just think that they're just like, no,
thank you.
I don't want it. That looks messy. I don't want to get involved with any of that. Like, that's a lot.
No thanks.
So I've continued on this route of shows we call skills and thrills.
Amazing.
Just because
Love
it's
it.
just like a category of shows that exists on the Plex anyways. So the other one that we started watching, which I've never seen before, is the one where they're fishing, where they're Alaskan crab fishers.
Oh, yes. The
Do you know what I'm
Catch?
talking?
Is that
Deadliest
that one?
Catch.
Oh,
Yes.
no. Oh, my
Just
God.
started watching it.
Oh my God.
This
I
has
love that someone cracked the code
my
on
God.
reality TV, and they're like, we can make a reality TV show about
Anything.
literally anything. And like people will watch it. Are we going to make a reality TV show where people just bid on storage containers?
Yes.
And it will be fascinating. Like,
Yeah. I'm
How?
like watching these people and I'm like, why would you choose to do this? This is so hard.
So
Like,
dangerous.
these are people that, play life and they're like, you know what? I'm going to take this to expert level. Like,
Right.
I'm like, don't make the difficulty
for
setting
crabs.
that hard.
For
Yeah.
crabs.
For
Like, I
crabs.
feel like that's not enough. I feel
No.
like
Yeah.
if you are going to sail the open seas and potentially lose your life on
Your
open
life.
water
Crabs.
for crabs, so that some like fucking asshole at a restaurant
Yep.
in like New York City
Can send back
be
their
like,
crab cake because they don't like it. Nah,
Exactly. No.
So true.
No.
But yeah, so I have this strange relationship with these shows that I watch like that because I'm like, they are in turns fascinating, but also I'm just like, as a sociological thing, I'm
Experiment,
like,
right?
this exists right now. Like, what does that mean for society? That
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
and what does it mean for me that I'm enjoying watching?
How are you
this?
not see, that's why I don't smoke weed. Because I would smoke weed, I would do
Yep.
that, I would watch
Yep.
that, and then I would have a full-on existential crisis about
Yes.
like the meaning of life and my place
Yep.
in it.
Yep.
Like
That's where my brain is without pot. So
Right.
yeah, that's where I'm at
Well,
this week.
on the reality curve, I'm with you. I stayed with friends of mine when I was in Phoenix, and apparently their morning routine is to watch. Her and her wife's morning routine is to watch Neve
catfish.
catfish.
Oh my
So they
God.
like have catfish on in the morning. I was like, well,
I
That
went
is
down a
amazing.
catfish
Well, I guess
rabbit
I
hole.
will.
Oh my God. I had a period of time where I watched like every episode of Catfish.
why is it so good?
It's addictive. I mean, they know what they're doing. It's
a
addictive.
formula. It's
Yeah.
a formula, and they know exactly how to run it.
And
Oh.
you know it's got to be like it's so highly produced.
Oh yeah.
You know, but you're still like, can't believe they did that.
Yeah. Yeah. I spent my mornings watching some catfish. That was my release for the
That
week.
would be fun though.
Yeah.
I ought to check that out. I'm like
gotta be
making a
honest.
mental note to myself, like I want to check that out.
I gotta be honest, it's not something I would be like, oh, I will turn that on at home by myself. But having it already on, yeah, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you can. It's one of those things that you can come in the middle of, kind of like a soap opera, where you're like, ooh, what happened? They did what? Like, it's kind of one of those.
Well, some of the most fun that I have watching shows like that are the commentary that Eric and I give to it.
Yeah,
Like
you
the
don't wanna watch it when you're alone.
nicknames
Yeah.
that we give to like the alone participants. Like, I'm like, I can't believe Mary Poppins is still like fucking around here and stuff. It's so much fun. So sometimes watching those shows in a group, like I'm sure whatever we end up having on in our hotel room in Austin.
Friends
is
with
funny.
100%. I remember and I tried to watch it by myself and couldn't get into it, but we were over at a friend's house. Cassie was there. I don't know if you were there, Christina, but we were watching The Circle. And I'm like, I don't know if I would ever. Oh, you weren't there. Was it you? Who was there? Anyway, I don't know that I would have watched it at home by myself because I tried and I couldn't get into it. But I was like, in a group, this is the best. You know, like it's so much fun.
Yeah. A lot of those reality shows, I think, and the worse they are, the better. Watching them in a group is so much fun.
And the worse the people are, the better.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And you can't explain. Because it's not something, again, like you wouldn't, like, you're not going to recommend The Circle to friends because you wouldn't watch it alone. And what made it good was the group of people you're watching it with, right? Because I remember you guys trying to tell me about it because I was on a work trip when you guys watched it. And I came home and you guys were like, oh my God, The Circle and this and that. And I was like, yeah, sounds great. Yeah. Guess you got to be there.
Exactly. Well, hey, if you guys have something we should watch or read, if you have a story to share with us on the podcast, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much. Cheers!
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.